So, one of the biggest characters in British boxing, Chris Eubank Jr., has been kind of quiet the last month or so. But he returns to form, certainly via Twitter at least, in a recent exchange with Tony Bellew. Tony Bellew, in an interview with Sky Bet, said that he had seen better belts sold in Matalan. I presume he's referring to the IBO title that Chris Eubank Jr. holds at the super middleweight division. Eubank Jr. has put, "Don't get too brave, mate. It took you 6 rounds to beat a man with one leg. David's injury made the fight even. Couldn't box eggs." Tony Bellew has then replied and put, "The same man who said he'd leave me asleep within 2 rounds and put me in hospital. As for your IBO, next have more prestigious belts." Eubank's gone back. "Everyone knows without that injury you would have been banged. Rematch all come down to super middle and I'll show you what boxing is all about." Tony Bellew comes back. What does he say? "The last time I was under 12 stone, you was in your dad's sack. You may as well still be there." Eubank's put, "Lay off the pizza and donuts for a while and you'll make it. Then everyone will stop laughing at you for having the body of a bus driver." I'll just have a look to see if there's any more. And then Eubank's tweeted again. Oh no, let's have a look. And Eubank's put, "Does your wife know you're sitting around thinking about my old man's sack? So you must not be doing her job properly, eh, Tony Bellew?" Bellew's put back, "She's not my wife yet. Get it right, son. Do us all a favour and fight someone ranked in the world top 10 and win. Good luck." So the exchange seems still to, be going on. I guess it's a relatively light-hearted, humorous exchange. But Chris Eubank Jr. has now called out Golovkin and Tony Bellew in the past week. So, Golovkin, as far as I know, is a guy staying at the 160-pound division. Tony Bellew is a guy who's made no secret of his intentions to stay at heavyweight. So, Chris Eubank Jr., looking at several options in terms of weight class, although to be fair to him, he did say Tony Bellew would need to cut down to super middleweight. And, very, very clearly that's not going to happen because we know how much trouble Tony Bellew had even making light heavyweight, let alone super middleweight. I don't believe Tony Bellew has ever made super middleweight once in his entire professional career, in fact. So, it's probably, from Eubank Jr.'s perspective, it's probably a chance at keeping himself relevant and keeping himself as a trending feature in the Twitter sphere, as opposed to an option to make a genuine fight with Tony Bellew. What's interesting, though, one thing that this does highlight is we actually haven't heard much news regarding Chris Eubank Jr. I think when he fought Ronald Quinlan, most of us thought he was going to be active. Most of us thought he'd be out again, probably April, maybe May. We thought he'd be looking to defend his world title. But that hasn't happened, and in fact there's actually no talk whatsoever of a new Eubank Jr. date, a new Eubank Jr. pay-per-view, and a new Eubank Jr. opponent, realistically. Maybe it's that the pay-per-view figures last time out weren't very good, and as a result they're having to have a rethink. Maybe it's because Senior genuinely believed that with his new deal with ITV, he'd be able to get the very, very big names, the Golovkins, the Billy Joes, the Gales, etc., to come over to ITV and fight, and clearly that hasn't happened. It'd be very interesting to see what happens next. For me, it doesn't look like Eubank Jr.'s next opponent is going to be against Billy Joe Saunders, against Gennady Golovkin, against James DeGale, or against Tony Bellew for that matter. So let me know your thoughts, people. Where does he go next? Will there be a fight announced soon? What do you think is going on with the Eubank camp? Many thanks indeed for tuning in as always. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already and take the time to click the thumbs up button.